This week on his radio show, Howard Stern defended wokeism, saying it's a compliment when someone calls him woke. Listen.
If woke means I can't get behind Trump, which is what I think it means, or that I support people who want to be transgender, or I'm for the vaccine, dude, call me woke as you want. I'm not for stupidity, but I am woke, motherfucker, and I love it.
Oh dear, he swore. He swore that'll win over the woke. He's a regular Huey Newton of the Hamptons.
Well, I watch and know some of them, and like Howard, I was on Howard Stern's show as much as anybody, and
yeah,
he was great at that time, and then he went woke.
Yeah.
And since he's gone woke, he's ready.
Howard Stern didn't just change. He gave up everything that once made him stand out. Greg Gutfeld and Donald Trump didn't hold back, calling out his drastic shift from rebel to safe and soft. What used to be bold is now boring, and they turned his transformation into a full-blown roast.
Because he criticizes Trump for dividing the country, and then he says he hates his supporters, so he's not learning from his own analysis. I think he might have turned into the thing he hated. He needs to go back and watch the movie Private Parts and focus on how he portrayed Don Imus, because he's kind of turned into Don Imus in a way. It's a mix of ego and
Howard Stern, he's a weak guy. He's weak. He's going, what about, it was so ridiculous. Even she was embarrassed. It was like so.
It's strange. Stern slams Trump for being divisive, but then says he hates Trump supporters. That's the same behavior he claims to hate. He should revisit his own past, especially how he mocked Don Imus. Ironically, he's becoming just like him, full of ego and bitterness.
But that's how Stern can call snacking with celebs at a fancy restaurant exhausting. Exhausting. Like he finished the overnight shift in a coal mine, or hearing Kat talk about her pets.
Fair.
But I get it, life is tough, especially when you've been cut off from the world for 2 years in a $20 million beach house. I mean, you have no idea how tiring it is walking all the way from the wine cellar to the tennis court. And
Stern, once the loudest voice against the establishment, now sounds more like a nervous neighbor gossiping over the fence. It's surreal. He used to challenge the system. Now he fits right in with mainstream media and avoids controversy like it's contagious.
The opposite of woke to me is asleep, and I think I'm awake. This must have gotten Trump all charged up, because at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, technically Sunday morning, he starts tweeting out, Howard Stern is a broken loser, jerk off, not loyal, the usual, tirade. And I thought to myself, I'll tell you my thought on it was,
Greg Gutfeld didn't even need to say much. Howard's current self is a clear contrast to who he was. His shift feels like a total reset, driven by fear and a need to please. Then there's Trump, crashing in with blunt force, mocking Stern, like a rock star laughing at a wedding DJ. It's not anger, it's confusion.
Stern hit a chic restaurant in NYC with a crew of A-listers, including Jimmy Kimmel, Jennifer Aniston, Jon Hamm, Justin Theroux, Jason Bateman. I was not invited. I guess because my first name doesn't begin with the letter.
Stern went from pushing limits to asking for permission. He used to make people uncomfortable in a good way. Now, he's careful, polished, and playing it safe. Compared to the Howard of the past, today's version barely makes a ripple.
Very well. I was on the show many times. I used to think he was good. Then I dropped him. And I dropped him like a dog. And his ratings are very challenged.
Greg Gutfeld takes a jab at Howard Stern's transformation, comparing it to the irony of a Hollywood speech. He reminds us that Stern used to be the rebel, the guy who called out celebrities for being out of touch. Now, Gutfeld jokes, Stern's mingling with the same crowd, happily signing autographs on luxury yachts. The man who once ridiculed fame is now serving it. And today, Gutfeld says, Stern seems more worried about being canceled than staying true to who he was.
Wall over there.
Well, he's half right. We do need a wall. To keep out gang members, fentanyl dealers, human traffickers, and Anna Navarro. What's funny, though, is that Stern actually thought that was a compliment. Stern has become such a wussified sycophant, he doesn't realize that telling Kamala that he'd vote for a wall is telling her that he knows she's as dumb as one.
Sure, maybe Stern's playing it safe now, but the old Howard wouldn't have cared. He would have dared anyone to cancel him. Now, he apologizes before even cracking a joke. That's not Growthite's retreat. Trump finds it funny. Just by existing, he seems to send Stern into another over-the-top reaction. Stern's so cautious now. It's like he's scared of upsetting anyone even a gluten-free group. Greg Gutfeld doesn't hold back. He calls Stern out for not just being fake but for being boring. And in media, that's worse than being wrong. Stern used to be bold and unpredictable. Now, he's a safe version of himself, afraid to cross any line he once bulldozed.
I find that his definition of wokeism is very simplistic. I mean, it's like, it's not about COVID jabs.
I didn't get that either. He was like, I love the vaccine. I'm woke.
It's not unlike Howard Stern. I mean, talk about a transition. On Tuesday, he conducted an interview with Kamala Harris that was so simpering and feminine, I got my period while listening to it.
Gutfeld, with his usual grin, jokes that Stern's mic should come with a seatbelt and a guide on how to apologize. These days, every show sounds like it's been approved by a corporate HR team. And his interviews, once raw and unpredictable, they're now so sanitized they feel more like lab tests than conversations. Trump, never missing a beat, throws shade from afar. To him, Stern's just another media figure trying to stay relevant by clinging to the same people he used to mock. Trump doesn't even have to say much, just pointing out Stern's new circle of friends is enough to get laughs. After all, Stern has gone from mocking Hollywood elites to seeking their approval. He's no longer the bold voice of rebellion now, he's just playing it safe, trying to fit in.
I watched them on Saturday Night Live with the where they have Maya Rudolph playing you. I hate it. I don't want you being made fun of.
Oh my God.
There's too much at stake. I believe the entire future of this country right now, I mean, as America, land of the free, home of the brave, I think it's literally on the line.
So a guy who's supposed to be funny for a living now claims her candidacy is too important to joke about. This is a guy who once joked right after the Columbine massacre that the killers should have raped the students before killing them.
The funny part, Howard still thinks he's a rebel. He seems to believe that just saying I used to be wild earns him credibility. Like an old guy in a leather jacket still telling stories no one wants to hear. Meanwhile, Greg Gutfeld is taking him apart, one sharp joke at a time. Stern makes it easy. He's become a parody of himself. The guy who once pushed boundaries now seems to run every thought through a filter. It's like watching a punk band come back just to play background music in a lobby. The spirit's gone. Trump, on the other hand, just laughs. Stern doesn't challenge him, he entertains him. Howard's attempts to stay relevant feel more like a throwback to a version of himself he left behind years ago. These days, Trump could sneeze and cause more drama than an entire month of Sten's tame monologues. As for ratings, Stern used to dominate. Now, he's a forgotten slide in a meeting. His audience didn't vanish, they just realized he changed. He didn't lose them, he walked away in search of approval from the same celebrities he once mocked.
Incredibly brave to take this stance after you've made $400 million not being woke, right? Loving Donald Trump, exploiting the mentally ill, wearing blackface. Look at the crop of woke comments, whether it's Stern or Jimmy Kimmel, his BFF, Sarah Silverman, Joy Behar, Michael Ian Black. What do they all have in common? They wore blackface. And then they went woke. It's not a chicken or egg thing there. You know what order it came. So I call this BFR, it's blackface reparations. There's nothing in Stern's previous career that could withstand this modern witch hunt that he now...
Greg Gutfeld wraps it up with sharp humor that hits because it's true. He's not just mocking Howard Stern's declinings, pointing out what's missing. Stern used to shake things up. Now, he plays it safe. Once the most unpredictable voice in media, Howard has become routine. His reactions so scripted you could set a clock by them. His fear shows not just in what he says, but in how he runs his show. Surrounded by yes-men and mainstream approval, he's no longer informing, he's just trying to fit in. And for someone who built a career by standing out, that's a sad shift. Trump doesn't even react. What's Stern going to lecture him? It'd be like a balloon trying to argue with a tank. One honest pushback and Stern disappears. Holding on to his old ego like it still matters, the Howard of the past would have embraced the fire. challenged everyone, and made headlines. Today's Howard, he's checking if it's okay to have an opinion. That's not growth, it's losing who you were.
I really had an exhausting weekend. Emotionally, physically. For the first time in 2 years, I ventured out of the house. Now, maybe he's exaggerating. We all do that. In fact, the more successful you get in media, the more exhausting the easiest things become.
Every time Stern tries to stay relevant, Gutfeld reminds everyone who he used to be and who he gave up being. Howard didn't evolve. He blended in. And not well. He's trying to rewrite his past to stay in good graces. But the receipts are there, and Gutfeld reads them out loud. Trump. He's the reminder Stern can't erase always trending. Always looming. Howard once attacked celebrity culture. Now he chauffeurs it. He went from fearless to filtered, from throwing punches to throwing parties. Gutfeld's harshest cut. Howard isn't outrageous anymore, he's just dull. And for someone who built his legacy on being bold, that's the biggest letdown of all.
He swore that'll win over the woke. He's a regular Huey Newton of the Hamptons. Here's my theory. Wokeism is a contagion. Stern got it from Jimmy Kimmel, his new best friend, and Kimmel got it from his wife, and his wife got it from where you get all infection.
No punchline needed. Howard Stern is the punchline. And the irony. He keeps topping himself. Just when you think he's peaked in self-parody, he comes back with another scripted monologue that sounds more like a PR post than radio. The guy, who once scorched Hollywood, now just wants a seat at its brunch table. His proudest moments. Telling people who he hasn't offended, that's the new standard. Gutfeld doesn't even need new jokesy. Just plays old Stern clips and points out the difference. That guy had guts. This one has a Netflix login and anxiety. Trump doesn't need writers either. One offhand remark from him hits harder than anything in Stern's cleaned up weekly show. The fall isn't tragic, it's just painfully obvious. Every shift, every sellout moment, it's all on record. No mystery, no mask, just a long, clear trail of contradictions. While Howard basks in praise from the very crowd that once feared him, Gutfeld and Trump are still doing what Stern only pretended to do, call out the circus from the outside instead of performing in it.